I'm still learning your name, so it takes me a little while. Okay. So Joseph wants to upgrade the new Honda CR-V, wants to purchase a new Honda CR-V. You know what? We haven't done used cars yet, but that should definitely stick out, the new part. Okay. The base price, there's that base price, is $36,860. It's a hybrid model. Some upgrades are being done, right? And the first question is, hey, what's the sticker price? And I'm not going to necessarily write out the whole formula anymore, but the sticker, what you need to remember is no taxes when it's the sticker price, okay? So most of you did it, I'm sure. $36,860 plus $14,100, and then just add up all the options that they mentioned. Rain sensing wipers, right? And PDI and freight, which is $19.50. Air tax. There's no tire tax, so we're just going to ignore that. And so you should be getting $56,260. Is that what we're getting? You check my key, so you're like, yeah, I know that's the answer. Okay, so you should always check because you never know with me. I do make mistakes. So how much will this new car cost after tax? No problem. That's when you look at this formula and you just take the sticker price, make sure subtract the trade-in if it applies. Okay, in this case there is no trade-in. What a silly way of doing your work, right? So much extra work, but it's just to show you that 0 is a placeholder, and so that gives you $63,011.20, right? So there we go. That's including taxes. Joseph would like to know how much taxes he paid. Determine the taxes paid. So taxes. Lolo, 1 second. Is it? We're good, right? And so you take the sticker price minus the trade-in, and you multiply that. Taxes only, right? 0.12. So it's 56,260 times 0.12, and that gives me 6,751.20. Okay. And then I throw in a curveball. Right? Joseph did not mention that he had a trade-in at first, just so the dealership wouldn't like up the price, right? So then you say, hey, I actually do have a trade-in, and this is what they value it as. Okay, right? So what's the total purchase price after tax? You go new, you take the sticker which you determined in A, right? And you take that off first. You must do that first, right? And so first you subtract and you get 48,571, multiply that by 1.12, and so it ends up being 54,399.52. I think the key may have had something extra there. Did it have something extra on the side here? It may have, but this is all that this question is asking for. Okay. So there you have it. I'm going to say this. I was going to do page 9 as well, but technically I posted that, right? You were probably not able to do D, or at least you were probably scratching your head a little bit on that one, right? When it comes to depreciation. For those of you who didn't do page 9, I'm going to give you the answer just beside. Okay, so the sticker price should be, so you can go ahead and write this down if you want to try it some other day. This is on page 9, 31,000, right? The cost after tax should be 35,315.27. If you just want the taxes, 37,83.78. And one thing I'm going to mention is your final answers have to have dollar amounts, okay? If anything in between while you're working, it doesn't have to, but the final answer does, okay? And this one, I'm going to give you the answer, and I'm going to focus on this part a bit more today. Okay, those are the numbers you should have there just in case. And I'm going to assign that anyways at the end of today. I'm going to assign a bunch of pages, and this is going to be part of it. So if you didn't get to it over the weekend, I thought of you, and I'm going to give you another chance, right? Knowing that tomorrow, most likely there will be an AC, right? Even though I told you I wasn't going to warn you, but here it is anyways. So I'm slowly speeding up, right? The ship is just leaving port. Takes a little bit to get going, but then once we go, trust me, you're going to want to be here. Okay? All right. Let's get back to page 4 now, okay? So we know how to buy a new car, we know what's involved, but there's the one aspect of a new car, which we call, this is on page 4, we're talking depreciation, okay? I appreciate your effort, right? That's what we know the other word. Depreciation, a little different, okay? Okay, let's dive in. Calculating depreciation, right? A car can lose up to 20% of its value in the first year. And over the first 5 years, fall to around 40% of the original price. Okay? That means that it loses about 15% of the value each year after the first year. Okay, I'm going to highlight this part. This is one of the main disadvantages of purchasing a new vehicle. It's going to come back later. I'm going to also highlight depreciation because it's an important concept to have. Okay. The rate of depreciation depends on the make, model, as well as kilometers you've driven. I think we all know that already. Imports like Toyotas and the Hondas and right Subarus, they lose their value slower than domestic, right? Like your Chevy, Ford, all of those, right? So I want you to highlight this part, okay? I'm going to use a different color, maybe pink here. So a high depreciation, right, meaning it loses its value very quickly, would be this curve right here. So you start with 100% of the value, and then it just goes down drastically. But look what happens after about year 9. It kind of slows down a little bit, right? But this curve would represent a car that loses its value very quickly, right? And then flattens out after a while. So that'd be a high depreciation. And if it's a low depreciation, meaning it loses it slower, it would be this top curve right here. And after about 9 years, it kind of flattens out. Right? So you have your 3 scenarios. There's a high depreciation and a low depreciation scenario. You don't have to memorize this graph at all, but just helps you to visualize what's happening. Next, let's do some math here. Figure out mine. So you need a calculator for this part. Dinesh is a carpenter in Thompson. He wants to buy a pickup truck. The truck is valued, here is truck is valued at $28,595. And it is estimated that the depreciation rate is 20% per year. And this question is a twofold question. A, what's the depreciation amount? And B, what is the residual value? And I've defined both of these at the very beginning of this unit. Okay, I just want you to know this. Okay, when calculating depreciation, right? We use the MSRP or the sticker price, right? So I will make it even more obvious when you study. Don't add tax. Okay, when it's a depreciation question, you do not add taxes. We don't care about that in this case. We just want to know how much is it going to lose. We're estimating how much a car is going to lose in value. So why am I saying this? When I mark provincial exams, students would do it beautifully, calculate the depreciation, and then they'd be like, oh, n times 1.12. And then you would actually lose a full mark for doing that, right? So make sure you don't fall into that trap. Okay, so here, this table, guys, is just to guide you. I'm gonna get rid of it soon because the province will not give you this chart when doing that. But here it is. So you start with year one. So the calculation that would happen here is 28,595 times you're losing 20% per year. So you want to find out what 20% of this is, which is a review from day one, basically. So you grab your calculator, right? 28,595 times 0.2, and you're losing $5,719 the first year. So the depreciation amount so far is this much. Therefore, the residual value, what's left over, right, would be 28,595 minus 5719. And that gives us, watch what I'm going to do. I'm leaving that answer on my calculator. I'm just going to go minus 28,595. Yes, I get a negative answer, but that's not really a big deal. Okay. So 22,876 is what you're left over after the first year. For the second year, pay attention to this part. Year two, you take this value and now you're losing 20% again of what is left over from the previous year, okay? And 22,876 times 0.2, that's 45, 75, 20, okay? So on your second year, you're losing a little bit less than before. And I'm just going to subtract that from my previous answer, and I have 18,000. You know what? Sorry. I'm going to show you one more time what's happening here. So I'm going to go minus 45, 75, 20, and then state what I'm left with at the end of the second year. Can I just tell you a common mistake here? Students find, oh, for 3 years, no problem. So they find 20%, they get 5,719, and then just go times 3, right? Instinct kind of tells you, oh, 3 years, so 3 years of this, but it's not true. The way depreciation works is you lose something of what is left, okay? So year one, you lose this much, you're left with this. It comes back here. 20% again, it's a little less. You subtract it, and now you're left with this much. So one more line here. 18,000. I leave the negative answer in there because to me it doesn't bother me, but if you want to retype it, you go for it. So 3,660 and 16 cents. Subtract that. So that is 14,000. 640, 64. Okay. As I said, this is just a template. We're now going to answer the questions, okay? To understand this. So for A, it's asking for the depreciation amount, the loss, right? It's asking for the loss, right? Depreciation amount. I'm going to show you how I got that. 5719 plus 4575 20 plus 3660 16. So I'm adding these three values. Told you I like highlighters, right? Yeah, I think I did. So these three numbers go right there. And I just add them all up. And I get 13,954 and 36 cents. So this would answer A. So we will clearly circle that one. So this is my loss over 3 years. Can you imagine that, right? 13 grand, almost 14. You're never going to see those dollars again, right? B, the residual value. This one is actually very easy. This is the residual value right here. Right? After 3 years, this is what the car is worth. But I need to show you the alternative. Right? Or you take the original amount, the amount that the car was worth right from the beginning, minus the depreciation amount. So sorry, it's going to be a bit squished here, but so this is how much the car was at the very beginning, and I'm just going to take away the amounts that were lost, right, which amount to this much here, and you still get the same answer, 14,640.64. I know that students they often beg me to just give them formulas for everything. And the answer is I can't give you a formula for everything. I just need you to understand, though, how to get that, right? That's very important. And practice is what makes you understand how that works. You're going to see a pattern. Okay. All right, so this is how you do depreciation. The province usually doesn't go past 3 years. Like they kind of stop at 3. So, but if it did say 4 years, then it's just one more line repeating this step. Okay. So I want you to go to page 5. You're going to remember, attempt every question. Every question has a bit of a curveball perhaps in it. But I want to explain page 5 before you start going, okay? So let's go to page 5. I hope everybody copied this already. There are 2 questions there. One with a template, but remember you still need to answer what's the total depreciation, what's the residual value. Use this to guide you, but you need to answer both of these questions, right? How about we do this? This is A and this is B. Okay, that's really what this question is asking. Use the template, go for it. It's just like how we did it. But then the second one doesn't have a template. Okay? And I challenge you to still answer the questions, right? A and B without the table. Okay. I will do this one together, but I would like you to still try it, not just wait for me. Use a pencil, right? If you want to later on copy what I'm doing. But you need to attempt it right now, okay? So this is you time. Use it. Okay, so this is the first table here. So you find 25%, that's what you get. Subtract. Look at how I did it a little different. I took this value, I put it up there just to show, right, that I'm subtracting that, give you a bit more space. Take that over, repeat the process, round your answer here to 2 decimals, and then just use that for everything else. Make sure you have this down. Total depreciation over 2 years, it would be these 2 cells combined, right? That is how much you lost in total. And then residual value is obviously just this. Or original minus what you lost, right, should also give you that. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Let's say you made a mistake along the way. You probably lose a full mark, right? But if you went total depreciation and you showed me that you're adding these 2 cells, that would still be a full mark for that, right? So just show your work and you'll be surprised how much you can score there. All right, next, this one here. And I saw some of you did it. You're not wrong. If you came up with the same answer, you're not wrong. I'm telling you right off the bat, some of you want to have it exactly the way I have it. I'm okay with it being different. So in general, this is the one you want to have because usually there's no template. Okay, so year 1 is 26,101.5. I base it off of this price right here. I lose 15%, which is 0.15. Okay. So 39,1523, that's how much I lost the first year. Watch what I do now. This is my method of doing it, right? I subtract to figure out my second year worth of loss. So when you subtract these two, you get 22,186.27. Then you figure out 15% of that, and you get 3,327.94. Okay, repeat the process. I subtract what I lost. Year 3, 18,858.33. Figure out 15% one more time. And this is 28,28.75. Okay. So now you have everything you need to answer those 2 questions. For example, for A, watch this. You like shortcuts? I allow you to do that, right? So for A, total depreciation, some of you love shortcuts, right? So if you just show me that you're doing that, you don't need to actually show each number being added. You get 10,071.92. Okay. And then what is it asking for next? Residual value. What is it? Oh, it's just Mr. Dirksen right here, 18,858, because it's year 3, isn't it? This is how to calculate how much you lost, but really it would be 18,000. You ready for this? Minus the loss that was incurred that year. So you get 16,029.58. This answers question B. Or let's say you don't like this method where you have to subtract one more time. Just go residual value is 26,101.50. Am I going a little fast? Maybe. Minus 28. Nope, sorry. Minus this whole value here because you lost 10,071.92 overall, right? So you take your original, you subtract the total loss, and here you go, guys, 16,029.58, which is what we expected. Okay. So that's This is depreciation, is one more thing that I needed to cover with you. What else do I need to say about this? Well, it's pretty, really, it's a dead giveaway. If the question says depreciation, don't add taxes, first of all. Don't add taxes. Just go proceed and figure out percentages. Mr. Erickson, could it be that they give us like 20% for the first year and then 15% for the second year? It could be. They have done that before. I could do that to you. Because sometimes you lose lots the first year and then it's a little less thereafter. Okay, so be aware of those little nuances. So here you go. You ready? I wasn't expecting to. I want to give you some class time to do some of the work that I'm assigning. So this is what this is my deal here. Okay, you need to know pros and cons of buying a new versus a used car. Okay, I made a 5-minute video of this. That way you don't have to hear me yap, or right? Like you can just go get it. The reason why I'll give you an example. Sometimes the province says, what's a good or an advantage, right? What's an advantage of buying a new car? What would be an advantage? Well, you could say, well, there are lower maintenance costs. Okay, explain. If they say explain, that means, well, the car is under warranty, right? Don't just say because it's brand new. I know that. Because you can say it's because it's under warranty, so a lot of the bigger breakdowns are covered under the warranty. That's why we say lower maintenance costs, right? Think like the province is looking for evidence that you took the course, all right? Like that's what they're looking for. And so I explain every single one of these items. I would suggest you have 2 pros and 2 cons on your study sheet. Don't use up too much space, but you want to have some. So I'll post this video and it's on you to get it. And you're like, what's the big deal if I don't do it, Mr. Erickson? Pretty much every exam, every test has a few explain, state and explain. So you can score 2 or 3 or maybe 4 easy marks on a test, right? If it's worth 40 marks and you get 4 right just like that because you know what I'm talking about, 10%, right? That is big. It all adds up, right? So I'll post that. That's on you. So go to page 9, and I'll say page 9 to 12. 9 to 12. You already did question 2 anyways, right? On page 9. This is already done, hopefully. If not, you get to do it. But just put at the top of this page what the homework is. I will post the answer key in minutes. So as soon as you start, if you want to check, am I doing this right? You go on and open the PDF and check if you're doing it right. Okay. Can you handle 25 minutes of work time? Let's say 20 minutes, right? The last 5 minutes, we're gonna pack, relax, get ready for the bell, right? So 20 minutes, do some work, and then get ready for tomorrow's AC that way, right? Thank you, guys.